Hi, this is Stacia, and it's time for some flashcard method. We are doing set 8, and we're going to look at flashcards 5 through 7. Okay, so this first one is called Rook Ending Idea. And, well, it's black to move. Black is in check. And to my eye, there are two valid options for this king. But as you might have guessed, one of them wins and one of them draws. So if you want to pause your video and find which one and back up your answer, I want to know why. Don't pick randomly. I want to know why. Then go ahead and do so now. Okay, so let's talk about this position. Black's playing for a win. The rook is ideally placed behind the passed pawn, and the pawn is pretty far advanced. Now, my understanding of rook endings is limited, but I'll tell you what I do know. There are two things that I know here. One is that if we go king b4, it's possible that our king could become stuck over there, and the white rook will stop us from ever escorting the pawns. That could be a problem. The other thing that I know about rook endings is that if the white king can run to d1, then I believe it's just a draw. Like, you can't allow that king to get there. In fact, I've studied some lines where the black king and the white king like basically race each other to see if black can stop white from getting in there. But I mean, this looks pretty compelling. So, okay, well, that probably, with those things in mind, it probably gives it away. Because king b4 is the winning move. So just because, well, it's like I tell my chess students, it's like all chess rules to me, I just follow the 80-20 rule. Like yes, you should castle. But really what I mean is 80% of the time, yes, you should castle. The other 20%, your knight's attacked, you should move it. Or if you castle, you get mated, so don't castle, So usually castling's a good idea, but that doesn't mean you cannot think about it. Sometimes it's not right. And that's the case here. If we go king b4, our king is not going to be marooned on the b file. So let's first understand king d5 though. So king d5 doesn't work because of the plan I mentioned. King e2, we bring our king over, and king d1. That's pretty much a draw. Okay, we're not going to get in there. If we play here, probably the rook could just block. If I come here, I mean, what can I really do, right? If I go here, check, king just simply comes back. I don't think there's any way to get that king out, and that's also just knowledge I have, so I feel pretty good about that analysis. Now let's look at king b4. Now if king b4, I mean, white has some different options here, but the key element in this position is that our pawn is going to advance with tempo against the white rook. The white rook will have to move if it doesn't move now. And if he tries to go back and protect the queening square, we actually just attack again. And if he does hide there, then the king is not marooned on the b file anymore, and the king comes over, then this king is not going to get into d1 like I was saying. And that means that black is going to win. So that is the case. So after king to b4, I think this just loses. They can't play like this. Yeah, like if here, yeah, okay, this would actually be a draw, or be losing even, right? No, wait, is it? If there takes and black takes. Oh, okay, that's winning. So we could probably do this. Yeah, there's nothing they can do. In fact, if they go here, I would just play check. Because now we take the rook. But also I was thinking this immediately too, because we're just going to win the rook. And as you can see, the black king was successful in getting to d1. Okay, so let's go back, because white doesn't have to play that way. I think that's just, it's something that we should look at, but it doesn't work. Okay, so the other thing is after king b4. Well, here's the beauty, right? Like, white would love to go king e2, but that's a fork. Yeah, pawns like to fork. So they can't do that. So we ruled out this move, and there's one more I can think of. After king b4, maybe white could play like a waiting move, like leave the black king on the b file, unable to cross. Well, here, if king e2, oh, there is no king e2, sorry, it's black's turn. Oh, this is the part I love. The pawn still advances. Oops. The pawn still advances, and it takes away the e2 square. Yeah, and I note here, it says the pawn takes away the e2 square from the king. The pawn is just too fast. Okay, great. Yeah, and so, okay, maybe they go here, trying to, you know, if they can just get here and here, it's going to be a draw. But I think we could just push. I mean, the white king is just too slow, right? So instead of that plan, white has to play a little differently. They have to go for checks. So rook c7. If I push, maybe they can just check. But here's the thing. I can go here, and if they check me, like I was saying before, this king is going to get to d1, and probably what's going to happen is we're going to get the classic Lucina position. And if you guys don't know the Lucina position, which I think most of my viewers know it, like you guys seem pretty good actually, like probably as strong as me or better sometimes. But there is a great video by John Bartholomew where he instructs about the Lucina position on a real chessboard. And I love that video. I think it's quite excellent. So I learned about it from that video, but also Soman's Endgame book. So if you don't know that ending, you definitely want to learn it. And I can tell you that I learned it when I was like 1300. And then I didn't see it like ever in any of my games. But now that I'm, you know, more like 1700, I guess 1600 at the moment, it does show up, and I do know it well enough to play with a couple minutes on my clock. Maybe not with seconds though, so I need to improve at it myself. But okay, so that was that flashcard. Let's move on. Okay, flashcard 6 is called Choose Your Ending, Plan Wisely. All right, I gotta turn the engine off. Don't want to see that. Okay, so this one's cool. So white, it's white to move, and the question is, what is the winning idea? Why does the other idea not work? And this is a little bit deep, so go ahead and pause your video and see if you can come up with the answer. Okay, so the first thing I would do here is determine what our options are. Okay, the first move that jumps to my mind is rook c5, just to attack the knight. But I think that immediately loses because the knight could move and take a pawn, so I don't like that one. Another one is check. Okay, we can check the king. And actually that looks pretty interesting because we can push our pawn next, and we're guarding that queening square, so that's an option. And Lastly, we could maybe just push the pawn because we'll be threatening to queen immediately. Okay, so we ruled out rook c5. Now I actually do remember the answer, but it's important to understand concretely why the answers are good or not. So it turns out that rook a8 check is a blunder, and it's for a very specific reason though. If rook a8 check, can just try to stay with me on this one, the king will come out, right? Okay, we push the pawn and we're threatening to make a queen. So black would play rook b2. They want to, you know, sack the rook. And we would queen. They would take it. Rook takes b8. And then here's the problem. Knight takes a4. And yes, we have a rook for a knight, but we also have an issue. Look at these pawns, and the computer says it's a draw, but I mean, I kind of feel like if anyone's fighting for a win, it would be black, especially in time pressure. Black would probably win. So rook a8 check actually does not work, at least not in a standard way. So the answer is to push the pawn, and I'm going to show you why. We're going to push the pawn. Now, I think black has to play rook b2. I don't see another move. So rook b2. And, okay, then we can go rook a8 check, and after this, it kind of transposes into the other line, right? Queens, takes, and knight takes a4. So at first glance, it seems like neither one works, but we have to play a different move in the middle of that. And the move is this. After b7 and rook b2, we have this beautiful move. Rook to b5. Yeah, and I hadn't seen this flashcard in a long time, so I didn't remember this move, but I did figure it out. But I remember, like, when I spotted it, I was like, does that actually work? I mean, it's interference. That's what it is. It's interference. We're just blocking. We're blocking the way so that we can make a queen. So if the knight takes, you know, we make a queen with check, right? And after rook b5 and rook takes, we take with a pawn. We take with a pawn. And then when they take back with the knight, we queen with check. So rook b5 just wins there. So I'll put it on the board for you guys now. So the first thing I was saying was this. Okay, that's horrible. Don't do that. All right, and then this doesn't actually work because we don't have rook b5 now. Like after this move, now we need to play rook to b5, but we don't have it. So instead, we have to queen. Yeah, and it's this position is a draw. So here's the beautiful one. Here, and rook b5. If they take with the knight, we queen with check. That's going to be more than enough to win. And if they take with the rook, we can actually take with a pawn. Check. And what's sad is we even win the knight. So I thought that was a really cool one. That's from one of my own games too. Isn't that crazy? Chess is crazy, I think. Okay, let's go to the final flashcard. Oh, this one's good too. I went through these right before making the video because I want to halfway be able to tell you guys what's going on. And this one I actually didn't solve. I just have a blind spot for this move. So here's the question. I actually didn't put it in the chat. All right, well, I guess I will now. not sure if that's true, but black is worse. Okay. So yeah, I thought, you know, I spotted this classic tactic, you know, let's check the king and fork the bishop at the same time. And I was looking at, you know, knight c3 is the typical response to this, but I could just take the bishop. So I didn't see anything, but if you want to pause your video and find it, do so now. Yeah, I just have a blind spot for this move. b4. b4. Yeah, this, how horrible is that, right? Because my queen's under attack. These are defending each other. Yeah, I mean, if that's a move, then I shouldn't play queen a5 check. So that's just horrible. And well, I guess that's all there is to it with this flashcard. So some of them are easier, right? So I hope you enjoyed today's flashcard session. I'll be back tomorrow with the finish. And yeah, let me know what you guys think of that, especially the rook ending one, or the two rook ending ones, because I know that I think it was Socrates that liked those in the past, and I'm wondering if my other viewers enjoy that as well. So okay, and I'm gonna go play a training game now, so wish me luck. Okay, bye.